Greetings and welcome to English for Restaurant Workers, the video workshop that teaches you the phrases and the vocabulary you need to better accommodate English-speaking patrons in your restaurant. As you probably already know by now, my name is Rafaelli and I am your teacher today. Thank you for tuning in and feel very welcome. Let's learn together. You are now watching the fifth and last class of our workshop. To refresh our memories, let's take a look at everything we've explored up until this point. Just so you know, there will be a card at the top of your screen that you can click and will bring you to the class I'm talking about. In our first class, I introduced myself and this workshop, but I also explored common greetings, expressions of courtesy, personal titles, how to welcome the customer to your restaurant, and how to say goodbye. Our second class was all about new vocabulary. We learned about the parts of the restaurant, the staff, the utensils, meals, and beverages. I also commented a bit about the legal age to drink in many different countries. The third class was straight to the point. Now that the customers have arrived and are seated, we learned how to take their food orders, their drink orders, and, finally, their dessert orders. The previous class, the fourth one, was the one when we learned how to explain a dish on the menu, we discovered some common food allergies and other dietary restrictions, and how to help the customers with general doubts. Okay, now that we are all caught up, let's get started with our final class. Up until now, we just learned how to deal when everything goes right in the restaurant. Everybody gets the food they ordered, everything goes great, everybody leaves the restaurant feeling completely satisfied. But, as we all know, our world is not that perfect. And, as much as we don't want our customers to have a negative dining experience, we can control everything, and we can face some unforeseen problems. So, in this video, we will learn how to deal with common complaints and problems with the customers. We will also learn the vocabulary and how to deal with different paying methods and how to ask the customer to repeat themselves. Once again, I highly encourage you to repeat at home the expressions I am exploring with you and test your pronunciation. You're free to rewind, go forward, pause, and resume as much as you want. So, take advantage of these tools to help you learn better. If you take a look at the description below, you'll find a link for a PDF file with additional material on what we are going to see today. So, let's get our class started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to learn today is how to ask the customer to repeat what they said. Sometimes, in the restaurant, you can have a very busy day, with a lot of people talking to each other, which makes taking food orders, beverages, or any type of communication very hard. Or you could be talking to someone who has an accent that's difficult to understand. You can ask the customer to repeat what they said with, "Can you repeat, please?" Você pode repetir, por favor? "I'm sorry, what did you say?" Desculpe, o que você disse? "I'm sorry, what was that?" Desculpe, o que você falou? "I couldn't hear you. What did you say?" Não consegui lhe ouvir. O que você disse? Pretty simple expressions. Remember that there are also other ways that you and the customer can communicate if anything else fails. Pointing, gesticulating, etc. are still helpful options. Let's pick it up where we left off from class number 3. Picture it. The customers are done eating. They really enjoyed everything. They asked for desserts, and now all that's left to do is to pay for the bill. The bill, also known as check, is known as the document that shows all that was consumed in the restaurant. So, you can approach the table and ask the customer, "How was your meal?" Como foi a sua refeição? To break the ice, and afterwards ask, "Can I get the check for you?" Posso pegar a conta para vocês? The customer then says yes, so you excuse yourself and go get the check. Alternatively, the customer can call you over and ask, "The check, please," or "The bill, please." That's also an option, and the interaction follows as normal. After that, you bring the check to the table. Some restaurants ask the customer to go directly to the cashier to handle the payment, but the process is essentially the same. Now, a bit of vocabulary. There are many ways a customer can offer to pay for dinner. One way to do it is by using cash, that is, paper money like this 10 reais bill, for example. Payment with cash generates what we call change, that is, the money that is going back to the customer. If the total is $30 and the customer pays with a $50 bill, the change is 20. Other types of payment include a credit card or a debit card. For those, you'll need a payment terminal. This form of payment does not generate change because it is done electronically and the value is charged from the customer. The credit card will take money away from the credit the customer has with the bank, while the debit card takes money directly from the customer's bank account. Another type of payment, which is way less common, is by check. The spelling of the word can be check for Americans and check for the British, but pronunciation is basically the same. The customer fills the check, this document, with the value to be paid to the restaurant, which afterwards needs to be taken to the bank to get the money. Checks are normally not accepted for regular payments anymore, mainly because there are now easier forms to pay for stuff, such as credit cards. Another problem of checks is that they can bounce. That is, if the person that wrote the check does not have the money in their bank account to pay for what they consumed, the document is now invalid and the restaurant is not paid. Nowadays, if that happens with a credit or debit card, an error message is displayed on the terminal automatically. Anyways, back to our scenario. You presented the bill to the customer and everything is correct. After that, you can say, "How do you wish to pay, sir?" Or, "How do you wish to pay, ma'am?" In Português, como você prefere pagar, senhor? Ou senhora? The customer can also ask, "Do you accept?" Or, "Do you take?" Followed by a form of payment. In Português, você aceita? For example, the customer can say, "Do you accept credit cards?" Or, "Do you take debit cards?" You can answer with both "Yes, we do," or "No, we don't," depending on your situation. Then, the customer normally asks if you accept a certain credit or debit card company. For example, "Do you accept MasterCard?" Or, "Do you take Visa?" Or even, "Do you accept American Express?" Again, you are left with "Yes, we do," or no, we don't. When the response is negative, it's best for you to follow up with another solution. For example, if the customer asks, do you take Visa? You answer, no, we don't. Only MasterCard. Or even, do you accept debit cards? You can answer with, no, we don't. Only credit cards or cash. Later, in the same class, we are going to learn what to do if there's a problem during the payment process. Again, it's very helpful if you have a sign with all the payment methods and brands of credit or debit card companies you accept in your restaurant. Be sure to hang it in a place near the cashier where everyone can see. After everything is paid, you just have to say goodbye and wish them a good day or a good night. To review this segment, here's a short role play to show how some of the expressions we explored are used. Excuse me, sir, how was your meal? It was delicious, thank you. Can I get your check? Yes, please. Here it is. Do you take Ultra Card? Yes, we do. Credit or debit? Credit. Here you go. There. Thank you so much. Good night. Good night. As I've talked about in the introduction, it is also important to know how to deal with complaints. We always wish that things will go smoothly and your customers don't have to face any problems. But sometimes that is beyond our control. As you can see on the board, I've put 5 common complaints that you might have in your restaurant. We have, the customer was not served yet, he or she did not receive what they ordered, his or her food is taking too long to be prepared, his or her bill was incorrect, and the food is not tasting well or was not correctly prepared. To learn how to deal with complaints, imagine the following scenario. Your restaurant is fully booked. The waiters and waitresses are running around trying to wait many tables at once. But it seems that you may have missed one when a Mr. Jones signals you to come over and says, please, we would like to order. Or, in Portuguese, por favor, nós gostaríamos de fazer nosso pedido. It is not polite to let your customers waiting for too long, or they can get annoyed and say, in an angrier tone, can we get any service in here? In Portuguese, vamos ser atendidos aqui? What you can do here is start by apologizing and right away taking their order. For example, I'm very sorry, sir, or madam, may I get your order? Meaning, mil desculpas, senhor, ou senhora, posso anotar seu pedido? Remember to apologize. No one likes to wait too long to get served. Okay, now you wrote down all they want to eat and got their beverages as well. However, as I said, the restaurant is packed and there are a lot of other tables to attend to. The time passes and passes, but Mr. Jones's table has not yet received their food. Again, he signals you to come over and says, I have been waiting a long time. Where is my food? In Portuguese, estou esperando faz muito tempo. Onde está minha comida? At this point, what you should do is apologize and say how long it's going to take. You can say to Mr. Jones, I'm sorry, sir, I will check with the chef. In Portuguese, desculpe, senhor, vou checar com o chefe. You can also say, I'm sorry, sir. It will take a few more minutes. Em português, desculpe, senhor. Vai demorar mais alguns minutos. So now, Mr. Jones finally gets his food. But when you are setting it in front of him, he says, I did not order this. Em português, esse não é o meu pedido. Uh-oh, the staff at the kitchen might have messed things up. To solve the situation, you can confirm what he originally asked for. Wasn't it the... followed by the name of the plate? For example, wasn't it the lasagna? Or, wasn't it the steak? If the customer was the one that got it wrong, then, no harm, no foul, he got what he asked for. But, on the other hand, if it really wasn't his order, you can say, I'm very sorry, sir. I will be back with your order soon. Em português, mil desculpas, senhor. Voltarei com seu pedido em breve. Also, make sure if you did not give Mr. Jones someone else's order. Maybe if you grabbed the wrong tray by mistake. The customer then can choose to wait for his actual order, or just say, it's okay, I'll have this one. Em português, tudo bem, eu vou comer este aqui. If it's not someone else's order and the customer does not mind eating what you brought to them, then no problem. Okay, it's been rough up until this point. You faced some problems with Mr. Jones, but you're managing things. Hopefully, everything's going well. But wait. Oh no, you spoke too soon. He calls you over and says, this food does not taste good. Em português, esta comida não tem gosto bom. Or, this food tastes weird. Essa comida tem gosto estranho. Well, this is odd. To reassure the customer, you can say, we can assure you that we use good ingredients. Em português, podemos garantir que usamos bons ingredientes. This sentence shows that you take the customer's health very seriously. You can also ask the customer, what is wrong? To know what is it about the food that does not taste well. To fix the situation, you should offer the customer a new dish, saying, I am very sorry, sir. Let me get you another dish. Em português, me desculpa, senhor. Vou pegar outro prato para você. Or, you can ask if he would like another dish. I am sorry, sir. Would you like to order something else? Desculpe, senhor. Você gostaria de pedir outra coisa? An alternative. The customer can complain about how the food was prepared, saying, this food is undercooked. Essa comida foi pouco cozida. Or, this food is overcooked. Meaning, essa comida está queimada. This may happen with meat, for example. Your best course of action on how to deal with this situation is to simply get the customer another dish. So, thankfully, Mr. Jones has agreed to ask for another dish. Things are really not going well for him. He asks for dessert, and, fortunately, he likes it. Mr. Jones then asks you to bring the bill. You do, but when he takes a look at it, he frowns and says to you, there is a problem with the bill. Em português, tem problema com a conta. Or, this bill is wrong. Esta conta está errada. What you can do in this situation is bring the bill back to the cashier. Tell him, I am sorry, let me check it for you. Desculpe, deixe-me checar para você. You show the bill to the cashier, and there it is. He made a mistake and charged Mr. Jones for something he did not order. The cashier then corrects his mistake and gives you the correct bill. You can present it to the customer saying, "I am very sorry, sir. Here is your correct bill." "Mil desculpas, senhor. Aqui está a sua conta correta." And the conversation flows as normal. However, let's say Mr. Jones was wrong and the bill is, in fact, correct. You can warn him by returning to the table and saying, "The bill is correct, sir." A conta está correta, senhor. So, here it is. We covered some common complaints you can have in your restaurant. Now, I'll present to you some general tips on how to deal with an upset customer that is complaining about the service they got. Just a general list of things you should do when dealing with an upset customer and what you should not do. First, what we should do. Always listen attentively to what your customer is saying. This is a general rule of respect you owe to any person you are talking to. Be sure to understand their point of view and what exactly went wrong. This is a serious moment, so avoid smiling and treat the situation and the customer with respect. Be sure to always apologize for the inconvenience. People go to your restaurant to have a good experience, and it is really unfortunate that they were not able to. Always offer a solution to your problem. If it's something small, like getting the wrong order as we've previously seen, then you can solve it with the customer right away. If it's a bigger problem, and the customer says, "Let me talk to your manager," or "I want to talk to your manager," be sure to apologize, excuse yourself, and take the problem to your superior. When dealing with complaints, it is always important to communicate with the customer and make him or her feel that they are being heard. Something important to do is to get the customer's agreement to the solution. Let's go back to Mr. Jones from my previous explanation when you got him the wrong order. The solution you offered was to get him the correct order. But if he does not agree to that, you can also offer him another dish or a free beverage. The key here is to always try to find a solution to your problem that both you and the customer can agree on. In our list of don'ts, we have don't get angry or upset with the customer. Remember to always be polite and to understand his point of view. Also, don't interrupt him when he or she is talking about the problem or blame him or her for that same problem. They are both big signs of lack of respect. A quick warning here about this section as well. When I was researching for this class, some people argue that you should not try to justify the situation because justifying it may give the impression that you are trying to blame the customer or not assume responsibility when things go wrong. For example, if your restaurant is full and a customer complains that he or she has not been served for a long time, perhaps telling them, "I am sorry, sir, we are full tonight," may sound to the customer that you are trying to avoid taking responsibility in serving them. Sure, it is said that you are very busy and you have a lot of tables to serve, but the new customer is not responsible for it. Do you see what I mean? Some people may not face your explanation about the situation as a sign of bad faith, but it's important to not make the customer feel neglected or that other people are more important than them. And this is the end of our last class. I would like to thank you so much for watching and for following this workshop. Hopefully, you got to learn something new and practice your pronunciation as well. I'd like to remind you, once again, this is the very standard form of serving customers in your restaurant, so always consider your environment. If it's more formal, if it's less formal, the type of restaurant you work in, what is present and what is not. You are free to go back to any of the other 4 classes and check everything again. Let me know down the comment section what did you think about this experience, and if you have any doubts, I'll be happy to answer those as well. Also, don't forget to check out the extra material that I have added on the description of this video, where you can find everything we explored in this lesson and all of the other ones. And that is all, folks. Goodbye everyone, thank you for watching, and I hope that you have learned a lot.